This week we're keeping it topical and head to 4 English castles. First we head south to Bodiam Castle. It might be smaller than most, but it's certainly one of the best castles in England to visit on your next trip. Perched in East Sussex, this 14th century castle has hundreds of years of history and can be easily explored. Take a wander around the castle, head across the moat and explore the long history of this stunning place. Built by a former knight of Edward III, it was created to protect against the French during the 100-Year War. Next, we head north to Warwick. There is so much history to explore around Warwickshire, with Warwick Castle being no exception. It's easily one of the most preserved and best castles in England to visit if you want a day trip. Warwick Castle is a medieval castle developed from a wooden fort, originally built by William the Conqueror during 1068. Experience 1,000 years of jaw-dropping history at Warwick Castle, great battles, ancient myths and spellbinding tales. As we leave Warwick Castle, we head north again to Lancaster Castle. You might think that Lancaster Castle is pretty old, but underneath the foundations of this castle is a much older Roman fortress. As well as the atmospheric medieval castle area, this castle still has the intact former HM prison cells and walkways in use until as recently as 2011. Finally, we head to what's arguably the most famous castle in England, Windsor Castle. Home to the royal family, it's easily one of the most iconic and best castles in England. Founded by William the Conqueror in the 11th century, it has since been the home of 39 monarchs. Today, the Queen spends most of her private weekends at the castle. Windsor Castle occupies 13 acres and combines the features of a fortification, a palace and a small town. Take time to plan your visit here, there's so much to see and you never know who you might bump into.
So yeah, there was only 4, but yeah, looking at it, castles across the UK, there were well in excess of 1,500 castles, from big ones to small ones to ones that are on rocks in the middle in the ocean, and you'll find one close to you. So what we said we were doing with this section of the show is start planning for next year, so when we can start getting out and about again. And this is one area where if you've not been to look at some of our amazing castles around the UK, then yeah, of your next trip, plan one and plan to visit there. And there's always plenty of campsites in and around the areas. Just as an example here, but I always say this wrong, Bodiam. So this is down yeah, that's the one, in East Sussex. So you can see in the middle where the blue highlighter is, that's where the castle is. There's plenty of campsites in and around that area. When we head up to Warwick, same again, it's just a small selection in and around that local area. But you guys, you know how to book a campsite and where you like to go. You're probably almost better off finding your site and then saying which castle is near to me, because there is bound to be one near you. What I've tried to do again, like before, is keep one down the south, one Midlands way, and one up a little bit further north. How's your French?
Wales.
Belvoir Castle. Not very good. So yeah, there's campsites around all of the sites as well. And the interesting one with if you're visiting Windsor Castle, and one that I would like to do in a future show, is if you're going to the Big Smoke. So there are campsites in and around the London area. Now, not only can you visit Windsor Castle, and there's so much to do in and around the London area as well. So that will be one for a future episode. But yeah, I think the thing is that there's a lot of history, and some of the views are amazing. I mean, look at that. How beautiful does that look? I've got to be honest, it looks stunning, doesn't it?
It does.
Took some building, that didn't it?
Yeah, that was that one is 14th century. 14th century castle. And honestly, I know I'm barking on about Windsor Castle, but look at this picture. Wow.
Yeah.
You can see why the Queen wants to spend her weekends there.
Not as nice as Hogwarts, though, is it? Oh no. No, that's
the thing as well. You can visit a lot of these castles that are on the telly. There are a certain number of them that you can still visit. So it's worthwhile checking to make sure.
What would you give for one of them paintings out to Hogwarts? Nothing. Right. Could disappear, couldn't it? Could just get up and walk off.
Yeah.
Then you're left with nothing.
1 minute. On the next, yeah.